special event alert.
All right, welcome to a special edition of the SBIRS reunion show, right? So instead of introducing all you guys myself, I thought that I introduce yourself and then say what years you were at Buckley, all right? And you can say your positions if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is going to listen to this, but outside of us six, but you never know. You might somebody. I mean, General Gutline shared our podcast the other day, and I was like, holy shit, what is he doing looking at this shit, right? But I started putting stuff out on LinkedIn, and then there's just, Conley's on LinkedIn, Respecky's on LinkedIn. They're active. You know, they actually take the quizzes. They're like, what does it take to be a leader? And they actually fill it out, and you see their input. I was like,
dorks.
Hunt watched our podcast the other day, Major at the time when he was there, right? Major Hunt. So there, who knows going to see it. But I'm Marty Smith. I was at SBIRS from 01 to 08. I did mission crew chief and then moved over to SSO, GSO, and sort of a kind of a in spirit system crew chief, because I don't know if I ever really pulled. I think I pulled 2 shifts and then I left for GPS. So, Derick.
All right, I was at SBIRS 2004 to 2009. I was the system crew chief. I actually went to SSO school with you, Marty.
That's right.
And Mr. Robert Cherry trained me as crew chief, and then I replaced him in the OSS.
And we went with what? Amy Reed and who was that?
Yeah.
Title Bomb.
Yeah, Title Bomb.
Title Bomb, right?
Title Bomb. Yep.
Okay, Robert Cherry. I was there from 2003, 2007, GSO, then systems crew chief, and then I went to OSS.
Yeah, Kevin Dunaway, 2005 to 2012, GSO on crew, then moved to OGB.
And Big Burn, I was there from 05 to 2020, both as an active duty member and an observer.
That's right.
You're still there.
Yeah. I worked there. Really, I was there till about 2022 as a contractor. But yeah, I started out as a mission crew chief, was a mission crew chief for a few years, went to OGV, and then was a weapons and tactics guy for the longest time with 8 Swiss. And I was also finished out as a mission management operator once we transitioned to the new iteration of SBIRS. But yeah, Teapot.
Hey, Teapot. I was at SBIRS proper from 2002 to 2006, but
SBIRS proper.
But really, I've been SBIRS for like 16 freaking years, right? So, I was a crew chief and then moved over to OGV, and that's where the shenanigans kind of began. So loved it.
Oh, they began long before that, right? Weren't you?
I was gonna say I was the your whipping boy when you were the scheduler for quite a while.
No, bullshit.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Marty.
I
answered my phone.
Did you? Yes, you did. Sometimes.
I don't know. We gave Dion a beating sometimes too.
Dion was the NCOs stuff.
No shit. Stuff that wasn't important.
We laughed, and actually, I've got to take my hat off to Dion, because we were joking about that the other day, how he weaseled his way into what was that crew? What was that?
It was DOO.
Yes,
DOO.
But that crew competition, right? That we sent a crew.
Guardian Challenge.
Guardian
Challenge.
And he was like the manager. Right? I remember him selling jackets and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
hats and
How'd you get that job, man?
As I said, NCOs stuff.
Right. Kevin, weren't you one of the force overs from Alert?
Yeah, when we closed, that was my only option, was to go to Denver, which I was single at the time. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So I was in a house with like Terry Whitmer and Corey Bowman and Juan Lopez. Yeah, we had it was ridiculous.
You probably should have been piss tested every time you came in, but then you guys would have never worked a shift.
I mean, booze, yes, absolutely. No, I was
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I was okay on shift. Like I was minding my P's and Q's going to shift. Day staff, absolutely not.
Hey, let's just make sure we call him Teapot, and then you
Right,
call me
right,
Kevin.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining on, and it's just it's kind of a reunion. It's 20 years, really, roughly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, and I'm going to publish this tomorrow, so it's on the leap year. So it's I don't know what that means, but it doesn't mean anything really. But I was trying to remember, and I wish Jake was here because I think Jake and I were there when it was IOC. And we were on the same crew when it was IOC, so we precluded you guys by a couple of years. But do you remember, were you guys there when they had the unclassed computer in that hallway? They had like one or two or three of them in that hallway.
Yeah.
Who's the guy? And maybe we shouldn't say his name. But do you remember when the guy got busted for surfing porn out there? He was like one of the first ones. Right,
one of the first ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the first big story that I'm like, hey, no surfing porn. Right?
I don't remember him.
I remember that. Yeah,
I think he was, because it wasn't a hard skiff for what, a year or two, and then they.
Are we talking about an O or an E?
Oh, he was an E, definitely. Yeah. But then we lost him outside the fence, right? We lost a lot of guys outside the fence, you know.
Well, I knew there was one kid that was McKinley's I don't know, aide, I guess you would call him. McKinley was the two Swiss superintendent back in the early 2000s. You guys remember him? Kind of a jack black dude.
Roderick McKinley, yeah. I trained him as a crew chief.
Yeah, he had the Hummer H2 or whatever.
Oh,
but he got busted looking at porn at his desk in McKinley's office. McKinley walked in one day and was watching porn that he brought in on like a DVD and put in the fucking disk drive on the computer.
People are stupid.
All right, hold on. We got the latecomer, of course. Our man in the closet.
Look, he's in the closet for real.
Yeah.
Go to your room.
Wow.
Go to your room.
Plenty of room.
All right, Jake, when were you at SBIRS?
Oh man, 01 to 05.
All right, so that's what we were just talking about. I mean, it's 2024, and it's like 20-year kind of reunion here. So,
Oh yeah.
I didn't know him as Jake. I knew him as Johnny Fuck Around for a very good reason. So throwing that out there.
That was earned.
You played your part well, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
that was. I mean, I one of the Jake and I were on the same crew, right? And I remember the second combat dining in we did out at that lake.
Oh,
You remember that
yeah.
lake way out there? And
I
so
remember that.
I had this ragtag group. I was supposed to be in charge, but I had this ragtag group to clean up, and Jake was part of that group that did nothing to clean up. Right?
No,
What in the fuck is going on?
I have no idea.
That nursing home is really fucking weird.
Marty, that was the one that was supposed to be dry, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we were
We drank all day, though.
beers the whole time.
We were drinking all during setup. Yeah.
Work smart. Yeah, it's smart.
But I was
Not
trying to
good.
get out of there without like anything coming down. And I hear this tractor start up. And they started running this tractor, and it was Jake jumped on that effing tractor for the ground screw, the Buckley ground screw or whatever it was. Get the fuck out of there! I was like, God damn it.
He was there. They
Yeah.
left the keys in it.
And I mean, you were Johnny Fuck Around before that, but your reputation was well earned, that's for sure. How many of you guys were around when we were still going to Boulder for long TDYs?
Oh yeah, those were awesome.
those are the best times. Remember the time that we literally kept BW3s open till like 4 o'clock in the morning? Derick,
I
you were
that's a
there.
very
That
famous
story.
one, right? That's the Australian stories, right?
Dude, we literally
Playing
we
pool with
would go-
Bauer Schmidt.
Yeah, we would go there, and if we work in a mid, we would check in the day before. So we're like, okay, we got to get on mid shift. So basically, we would go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and the manager literally stayed there for until 4 o'clock in the morning, service beer and wings and everything. That was the best time. It was
No, that
really
wasn't.
the best
I was
time.
thinking Old Chicago's. I was thinking of those.
Oh, we did Old Chicago's as well. We did Old Chicago's as
yeah.
well.
God, he made.
I've still got a
like
band of that
too.
old Chicago's.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
You got a band?
Yeah, I got banned from that old Chicago's there in Longmont.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
went
you
there
weren't
one
in the
night.
stall with Christina, were you?
Yes, he was. He was.
No.
No, it wasn't him. It was the dude that worked for on
Oh,
Charlie.
Jake. What?
No.
Oh,
I know his name. I'm not going to say it.
I know his name, but we're not saying names. Yeah.
okay. Well, no names.
But no, we showed up to Old Chicago's one day and just had the worst service ever. And it was just like we waited like 40 minutes to order food. And finally, I just kind of lost it. And, you know, the waitress came over and I was like, where the fuck have you been? And she's like, oh, I had to go and pull kegs out of the back refrigerator and all this stuff. I'm like, what's going on here? Get your manager over here. Brings in the manager. This manager is painted up like a fucking clown. She had so much goddamn makeup on. And so I'm like, you know, what are you doing here? Why do you have this? You've got a 6'2", 200-pound bartender behind the bar sitting there talking to some chick. And then you've got our waitress who's like 100-pound, 5'2" girl pulling kegs out of the refrigerator. You know, what the fuck's going on here? And she's, oh, sir. And then at that time, our food came. And my lasagna that I ordered literally still had the plastic on it. And I pull the plastic off and I'm like, what the fuck? And I crumble it up. I toss it at her. And I'm like, fuck all you people. You suck. And I just walk out. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not paying for this shit. Fuck all you guys.
But
And,
he's like 20
And that was
beers
just a
in.
Tuesday for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I get home and I get back to the hotel and I type up an email to the district manager of
Oh, you're
Chicago.
really committed to this thing.
And
Yeah.
he replied back in minutes. And he's like, I heard about you. And he goes, he attached $300 in old Chicago gift certificates. He was like, we've had problems with this manager before. However, you are permanently banned from that location, but feel free to use these at any other of our wonderful locations. We'd love to host you and actually give you a good time.
That's an interesting problem resolution there. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay,
Just
I can
don't
handle
go
that.
there.
And,
here's a bunch of trashy coupons, but don't ever come back.
But the big thing was the Spring Hill Suites. We always
Spring Hill
stayed at the
Suites?
Spring.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we had what was it? That free beer at like, what is it, like
Yeah, that
5
happy
o'clock?
hour was
Happy
good.
hour.
The happy hour. Yep.
Yeah.
they had nice beds too. Their beds were really comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think of one person. Well, I won't go there. I won't go there.
You guys weren't a part of when we stood up Heo, right? They sent us all down to Heo, and then they sent us TDY to Boulder for like weeks at a time to get training.
Yeah.
So like we banked
Money.
so much per diem, it was obscene.
Yeah.
And we're working swings too. I'm like, woo! It's like me, JT Moore, Butch Bautista,
Yeah.
having a good old time.
Good
I
old
think I stayed up there for like a month, one full time, because the opposite crew guy fell out, and Marty just probably put me up there.
That
Yeah,
wasn't
just
me.
stay there.
That probably wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah, I know.
That was
It's
probably Amy
always
Reed
Marty's
by that
fault.
time.
It's
That was-
always
Oh
Marty.
man. Yeah.
Or
You're
God,
forever
I can't remember her
scheduling.
name. Who was that? Who was that other staff, female staff, who I was in scheduling with?
Not Amy Reed?
No. Before that. I
Oh.
cannot remember her name. She liked England. She liked castles, and she liked she was great to work with. I can't remember her name, but
Dunlop.
She liked England and
Dunlop.
castles.
Yeah, Dunlop. That was it.
Yeah,
Dunlop.
okay.
Dunlop. She went to the schoolhouse. That was the
Yep.
one.
Yeah.
What's his name was banging out. I guess we ain't saying names. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
I
said her
think she
name like
still
five
lives.
I, well, I didn't say who was hitting it though.
Yeah.
You can edit Marty.
Hey, in
I'm not editing anything. I mean,
It was
if somebody listens to this and actually blows a whistle on us, that'd probably be the best thing for us. So, you know.
Yeah. She's still here in the Springs.
She
And
is.
I think they officially got married, even though she was very anti-marriage. They
Yeah.
had his and her bedrooms out here.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just want to let you know, I still talk to Butch a lot.
What's he doing these days?
Yeah,
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, he's in Azusa. He's a GSE at Azusa. He's doing very well. You know, the big thing is that everybody knows the name Butch from Pulp Fiction. When he's like, Butch, give me your pleasure, Butch. And I give him a call, and he picks up the phone. He goes, "Hey, it's Butch." And I was like, "Oh, Butch, give me your pleasure." He goes, "Kevin, you're on speakerphone." I was like, "Dude, really?" But yeah, he's at Azusa. He's doing very well.
Good.
That group. Who'd you say you live with, Teapot?
Terry Whitmer, Corey Bowman,
Prettiest man in
and
Space
Juan
Command.
Lopez.
Well, Whitmer.
Prettiest man, sexiest man in Space Command, right? Terry Whitmer.
Who was
And
the
I'll die on
couple?
that hill.
Who was
What?
the couple? One guy was good at golf, and he was married to. I can't remember.
You're talking about Bubba?
Well, I know Bubba was good at golf, but there was another. I think he was a contract. Either she was a contractor and he was in, or he was a contractor and she was in. But I thought they hung around with Terry Whitmer. I just don't.
Oh, maybe
Dude,
the one you're talking
just
about
want to let you know, I'm
with.
going to get off
Sherman?
for a second. I'm going to call Corey, see if he can get on.
Bowman?
All right.
Hey,
Yeah,
you've been,
yeah.
You've been going around the nursing home every 5 minutes for breaks. haven't you?
Hey, Derek, shut your mouth before I put my dick in it.
It's dementia.
That mention will get you.
For the viewers at home, I'm pretty sure Kevin was tacky, right? He would probably fuck. Let's throw that out there. All right.
You paused. What?
Okay. Oh, wait a minute here.
Uh-oh.
Don't screw with my ex-career field, man.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I just was positive about you.
All right, hey guys, let me get see if Corey can get online.
All right.
All right.
He'll have to ask permission.
Probably. Oh damn.
I think they're like last call for meals before they have to go put them to bed. So
He's got to go take his medicine.
I know we've told it before, but this is probably a perfect place to tell it again. Who can tell the Sergeant War story? Because I think that's worth this forum to tell that story again.
I was there. I was a part of it. I was an
You mean
instigator.
where Dolls called in as Sergeant War?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Do you
That
guys,
was a good one.
Robert? Do you know that one?
I do not.
Well, I guess I'll sum it up and then I'll let Teapot take it over. But
You gotta
do
do
you
the
remember
voice.
Sergeant War, or were you
Gotta
guys?
do the
He was
voice.
on my crew. I remember.
Okay.
Rob sent him home with his clothes.
Yeah, he showed up at the IMCSB like he was going to a club. Had, like jingle jeans on,
Why did you tell us this?
jersey. I was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm just working. I said, "Those aren't business casual. Go back to your room and change."
That's not the war story I have.
I have a
Yeah,
war
no, we
story
want to
where
hear
he-
yours. We
Yeah,
just-
goddamn. That
he
gets
wants to
Set
end
it
up
up.
on a
Let
Delta V
Marty
and
sum it
a
up.
303.
Fucking retards.
So it's between Sergeant War and then Stocking, who was up in OGV, right?
Yeah.
And so Dawes went and put these guys at odds. So Teapot can take the rest of that story.
So, Dawes and I came up through the Johnny Fuck Around University that Jake
It's
graciously told us about.
found
And
in
if you don't know what Johnny
2001.
Fuck Around is, when Jake was done with work, it didn't matter how busy you were also done with work until Jake leaves. And then if you had work to do, you would do it when Jake leaves. So
You should have
Conrad
finished
and
your
I-
job faster. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Listen, I worked for Gary Benton. So yeah,
Gary.
I love Gary. Love Gary.
Hey, he kicked ass.
But
with
I
us
also
one time.
got tasked a lot more, and that's okay. But Conrad and I were hanging out. It was midday, and Johnny fuck around, boom, light bulb, let's go. And he had mentioned like, hey man, like we knew he sounded like War, like we knew he could throw his voice, and he's like, hey man, let's mess with stocking a little bit. I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. I said, hey, he's got an eval coming up. Let's call into Stocking's office and ask when he can schedule his eval and just kind of.
Whoa, you were the instigator of that?
Yes.
I had no
Oh,
idea.
absolutely.
I always give credit to Dawes.
Yeah. Dawes and I were thick as thieves, man. We really were. Like low key, him and I corroborated a lot of dumb shit. And I love Conrad. Love him. LL Cool J. He looks like LL Cool J.
All right, I'm letting Kevin back in, so this is going to be a bull in a china shop.
Okay.
So hold on.
So,
Hey, Marty, suck my dick.
you have to move the colostomy bag over, though.
Oh, dude. Okay, first of all, Derick is older than me, so you should be talking to that motherfucker. Oh, what about Rob Cherry? You're not giving him any shit.
Yeah, I'll be 60 in a few months.
It's because I love you, Kevin. That's what.
All right, go back to the story. Listen up,
All right,
Kevin.
so
I'm sorry, Corey's about to come in.
So we look at the eval schedule and we look at like War schedule and we start kind of like game plan. Okay, so he calls in and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Stocking? It's War." He's like, "Hey, Sergeant War, how you doing?" Because Kevin Stocking was very proper, right? People thought he's a prick. I thought he was just wanted you to do your job. Kind of like you, Rob Cherry. People are like, "Oh, he's such a hard ass." Like, "Oh, he wants you to do your job, and if you don't do it, he yells at you." So weird. But like, he's like, "What's up, Sergeant War?" He goes, "Hey, when my eval coming up?" You know, and he's like, "Well, we're gonna schedule." He goes, "I got this, and this going on." He goes, "Okay, hey, let me schedule it, and whatever, and I'll call you back." He's like, "Okay." We let like some time go by, and
you got to at least try to do the voice to make the.
Yeah,
you're
going to talk like this.
And Benton comes in to Stocking's office, and they were talking about something. I don't know if it was heated, but something important was going on. We call again, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? It's War. Hey, what about my eval? When's the schedule?" And he's like, "I told you I will call you back. Give me a few minutes." And he kind of hung up, right? So now we're laughing. We're like, "Dude, call again and get a little aggressive, right?" Calls. He's like, "Hey, it's War, man. What's up with my eval?" "Sergeant War, I'm in a meeting with my OIC. I will tell you when your eval is scheduled." I guess he hung up the phone. He fucking like threw it across the room. Storms out of the office. And our office is right across from his. And he walks over, and he's just staring at the board, shaking his head. And Conrad and I were like, "Oh, shit." He walks up. He's like, "Hey, Sergeant Stocking, just let you know that was me on the phone." He's like, "You motherfucker."
Wow.
I threw the phone across the room. I was so pissed. And he was like, basically, "Fuck you guys," and then walked back into his office.
I just saw Kevin at the Nipper Cafe the other day at Buckley. He was heading out, turned his computer in because he lives in like
He is retired. He is totally retired.
He is now.
Yeah.
For him.
He always lived out east, right?
Yeah,
Wyman,
well, I guess he
right?
moved out there.
Wyman.
Well, his wife has been living out there for a long time.
All right.
They were out in Bennett, I think. No, it wasn't Bennett. It was further than Bennett.
I thought it was Lyman.
No, he's in Idaho. He lives in Idaho.
Yes,
Idaho.
because his wife and family moved out to Idaho like 2 years ago. He's just been sitting here, just waiting for his pension, and then now he just retired.
Jeez, wow, good for him. That was a lot.
I love him for Stocking. He was so fired up all the time.
Yeah,
I remember one time.
Always.
I was on the ops floor. I was OGV at the time. Had no business being there. And I was in like the GSE area, and then you have the system crew chief right next to him. And they had something going on, and he goes, "Teapot, get the fuck off my ops floor." And I was like, "What? Yes, I'm leaving." And people were like, "Ooh," and I'm like, I had no business being there. He just kicked me off the ops floor.
You never worked under him.
I was getting mad. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have been
And I
there.
call bullshit. He did not curse.
He did.
No, he never cursed. He never cursed.
Shit, he never cursed.
Maybe just a teapot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard.
Maybe to you,
Johnny fuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
but
around, find out.
work under him as a superintendent, and then wow, it was very intense sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's move to golf.
Well, me and Robin Cherry are
out.
planning
And
to
I
do
think our
this
two
golf.
guys up in the
I think
upper
it's great.
corner there. Oh, look at this. Hold on a second. Look at that old man.
Hey,
There he is.
There he is.
The ISA Especial, baby.
Are you trying to say that I have more gray hair than everybody else in this chat?
We just shaved.
I have no freaking hair.
We shaved.
At least you have hair, man.
Thanks for coming on, Ron. Hey, when did you get
Yeah, I had some
to?
other stuff going on. Sorry about being a little late.
No, that's all right. I'm glad you joined. When were you at SBIRS? Do you
From
remember the years?
2001 to 2007.
Okay, so you were there around the IOC, right? You were
Yeah, I was there for IOC. I had my little
Yeah,
certificate.
2005.
I got my IOC certificate.
Hey, I think your mic is getting a little feedback. I don't know if you can do anything about it, but
Let me see.
it seems real loud, and it may be giving
Yeah.
a little bit of feedback.
talk.
But we're just roaming around stories here, so we're trying to avoid names, but I haven't done a very good job of avoiding names. So, but we're just about to move into some golf stories, which our two guys in the upper right corner there could probably tell us the most famous golf story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, come on, bring it out. Bring it out.
Talking about SBIRS tournament.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the SBIRS tournament.
Is it Canterbury Golf Course?
Yes,
There
it
might have
was.
been a lot of drinking going on.
Prestigious Canterbury Golf Course.
Threatened to be arrested for clubbing kids,
Yeah.
allegedly. Yeah, that was a total shit show.
These guys might not know that whole show.
Yeah, what happened?
Recap.
I don't know. Some of them do. Like I think Teapot. I don't know if Teapot was with Bubba and Eric and all them golfing, but they almost hit us with some golf balls there.
Yeah, he was
The
with
whole
Bubba.
day was a shit show. But
I wasn't at that tournament, but
Oh, you
Buys gave me the play-by-play.
oh yeah, there
Oh,
was
yeah,
a lot
Eric
of
was there.
wrestling and drinking on each hole, and then at the very end, who was it? Colonel Tobin was the wing commander, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sounds right. Yeah.
We're all coming down, and that whole day, Suzette, God rest her soul, she was chasing. She would be in Robert's golf cart, chasing me and Tara, and I don't know who, Tatacek, and
Yeah,
she had beer in her mouth for like 15 minutes, waiting to spit it on me. We come up to the clubhouse, and Colonel Tobin's parked in his golf cart right there. Our golf cart stops, but Robert slammed right into us. Suzette jumps off and spits the beer all over me in front of Colonel Tobin. And then apparently the cops were coming because there was, the school up in that area.
Yeah,
there was
there's
all
that
kids up
elementary
in the
school. I think.
schoolyard,
Right.
and we almost hit them. And like her, Grenwald and everybody, maybe even Ron had to do some paperwork. I don't know if you were still there, Ron. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing about it, and I remember there were some 06s that were involved that, got their names put on some blotters.
So the worst part of that day is Rob Cherry won a $20,000 membership.
Oh yeah, I won that.
And a raffle, he had to give it away.
I gave it to John.
He had to get out of there.
Why? Why?
He goes, oh yeah, I won that.
Yeah, the Parker PD
John
showed up.
Stacy?
Rob, why'd you have to give it away?
I'm not going to go there again. I thought it was blackballed, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking use it.
John Damn Stacy, huh?
But John Stacy was like, "Hey, you want this?" You go, "Sure."
And then we had to all write like letters.
What's going on with him?
He works north of Grumman. He's in Boulder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a manager. Been there a long
Who told you had to write letters?
time. Mark
Grinwald, a bunch
And
of
Bruce
HPs,
Hudson.
and I'm on active duty. I'm like, why are you asking me to write stuff? I'm not reservist. I'm active duty.
Oh, Bruce Hudson was Suzette's flight commander.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "You got to fly, write a letter to send afar." Then he called me a liar. It's like, I was there. We weren't clubbing kids, like you say we were.
Come on, Bruce
Some
Hudson.
mom and a kid that saw us drive on the school
Through the
grounds.
schoolyard. There was
And it
no
was like
kids. There was no
pandemonium after
Right.
that.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was totally blown out of proportion.
But each hole there was like wrestling going on. Suzanne liked to wrestle on the greens.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about Tatacek, like everybody's
Derek was trying to butt fuck me on the golf course.
Yeah.
That's all standard operating procedure. What do you?
Jesus.
Are you surprised?
But it was none of that. It was actually driving through the elementary school parking lot is what
Yes,
did
that
you.
was
Yeah,
it.
right. You were racing through the playground, clubbing little
Oh
fun.
my
That's
God.
hilarious.
And Tara was running beers for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Bruce Hudson had a cooler in his backyard because he lived on the golf course. We
Yeah.
used his bathroom in his house, pulling beers out of his cooler.
Come on in.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest ass at the time.
Yes, he was.
Oh my God, it was bad.
Yeah.
This is my daughter Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Hello, Jackie. Hello.
Come here, Sirianni. This is my clone, Sirianni.
Daddy, what the heck? Why do you have a baseball
How
face?
you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Because his
Tell him
face
you feel
does
better,
not look very good.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You should not.
to come say hi to
You should not be saying that.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Bruce Hudson and the pilot mafia's haircuts, because they all had the same like haircut, and I would be giving evals with Jake and Dan Sanders, right? Captain Dan Sanders. And Jake and I would be like, "Yo, why do all these guys have the same damn haircut?" And we start laughing. And Sanders like maintain discipline. I'm like, I can't. They all have the same. There's like 4 of them, right? They had the same like part over like haircut.
Hey,
none of them-
hey,
none of
last
them.
year, my 25-year-old daughter got married in Mexico. We had a wedding in Mexico. Bruce Hudson was our pilot on the way home.
No way.
Come
How's he
on.
doing,
Come
man?
on.
Swear to
I
God.
love me
I-
some Bruce. man.
I landed at Denver.
Are
and I was
you
going to the bathroom, and I was standing outside, and he was wearing his freaking bus driver cap. He was wearing it.
Oh,
He had
my
a
God.
goatee, and he's like, Derek? And I was like, holy shit, I didn't even recognize him.
What
Dude, he
airline?
thought he was the commander, but you were really the commander of that damn crew.
What airline was it?
United.
United.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I think he was
Derek,
wrong
you
with
need to tell- You need to tell the story, the cocksucker story. That Hudson called you.
Oh, Bruce Hudson?
Oh, that is the funniest shit in the world.
Yeah, so, we had watched, Usual Suspects. Give me the fucking keys, you cocksucker. What the fuck? And so the whole system side was like saying it all day. And then Bruce pulls me aside and says, hey, Derek, you got to stop saying cocksucker. Like, you got to stop saying cocksucker. You're on the off floor. And I'm like, I was really serious. I was like, I have never used that term in my life. And I was dead serious because I don't use that term. But then I went back to my crew. And he's like, yeah, he's giving me shit about we're all saying cocksucker. He goes, give me the keys, you cocksucker. I'm like, oh my. So I had to go apologize to him.
Because we had to walk up to Derek and say, Derek, you've been saying it for the past 6 hours.
Yeah, it's a movie.
And he was like, what? I was like, give me the keys, you cocksucker. What the fuck? He goes, oh my God, I have.
Yeah, so I had to apologize to him. It was me.
God, that was a great crew. That was a great crew.
I hated that guy.
Well, Derek was really the crew commander, so.
I actually like him, though.
Hudson was my first nemesis because he put me in charge of Rebecca Cronus, right?
Oh, God, and I got her after you.
I moved her off the crew.
But he did not like Becky,
No.
right? And he approached me. He's like, "Hey, I think we need to maybe refer her to mental health." I was like, "You do that, she's going to lose her clearance. You can't do that, dude." And he didn't like that I said that back to him. And then it just went downhill from there. So it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Help
saying
him
if
do
that's
anything,
good moment
though.
or not.
And thanks to
Can I tell
Robert
you a
and
Becky Cronus
Suzette
story?
to bail me out of that crew. So
But when she moved to OGV, sorry, Derek.
Cronus off that crew later on.
did you?
Yeah, but when she moved to OGV, she got really better. And I don't know what her deal was, but you just got to learn how to deal with her, because I thought sometimes that she could be one way, then all of a sudden another way. But yeah, she was better after that. But then she
I
got
had
out.
both her and her husband as supervisors, and they were both cool to me. And you guys know how difficult
Yeah.
I can be.
Yes,
I love the Cronai. All right, I am a Cronai fan. That's the Cronus is plural,
Yeah.
right? So I
gotta
work with
dig
Becky in OGV. I got a call one day. We have an eval about to start, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be late." And I'm like, "Hey, you okay?" She goes, "Yeah, there was an accident, and I got out of my car, and I was trying to resuscitate a person who was injured,
Jesus.
and they died, and I got blood all over my uniform.
Oh
So I
my
got to go on the
God.
chain. I'm gonna be late." I said, "Becky, I'll talk to stocking. Do not come in. Like, take the day off. Like, let me know what you need." She was trying to come in for an eval, and I told stocking, I said, "Hey man, I just got this call from Cronus." He goes, "She's not coming in, right?" I said, "I told her not to come in." He's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
thank you." Like, I really enjoyed working with Becky.
Yeah,
She
and
was
I think
good.
everything changed for her after the motorcycle accident.
Yes.
I don't know if
Okay,
you guys
yep.
knew about
Well,
that.
I was her supervisor when she got custody of the kid.
Her sister.
Right?
Yeah, her sister.
Right? And that threw them all in a loop. So I got her right when there was that, and I was like, yeah, I got it. It's got to be. I mean, geez, you're in your 20s, and all of a sudden you're supposed to be a parent or something like that. So
Yeah, it was a difficult time for her. It was a very difficult time for
but
her.
Brucey had no
They
allowance.
just didn't get along.
Yeah, not
They
at
didn't
all.
get along.
So something that I'm not sure, Cherry, Robert, you might remember this, but I had to pull Bruce aside. It was me and somebody else, but we had to pull Hudson aside and have a talk with Hudson because he was getting so many complaints from all the senior enlisted folks, and almost everybody hated him. And so I had to pull him aside and talk to him. And I was like, "Hey, man, what's the deal? What's going on?" And basically what he said is, from his career path as a pilot, he didn't have any other senior enlisted people that worked for him or around him. And he was used to just, kind of being in charge and telling everybody else what to do. And he wasn't accustomed to working with senior enlisted guys.
Right.
And the only enlisted guys, the few crew chiefs and stuff was around him. He had total domain over these guys. So he just wasn't accustomed to dealing with senior enlisted guys. And he just said, I didn't realize, I was coming off that way. I didn't realize everybody hated me. And, I just didn't know I don't know how to deal with that because, this is just how I came up in the Air Force.
Yeah,
and so I don't know if he changed much, but I had to have a talk with him about that.
I tried to have a talk with him.
It was really cool to junior enlisted dudes. That was the first crew I went to. I went to Bravo when I first came up there in 2005. And I went right to his crew, and we had no problem with, I was a senior airman staff sergeant at the time, and everything was legit right there, in the mission cell. I had never had an issue with Major Hudson the entire time. And there again, I'm me.
I never had an issue with him.
Yeah, I do remember that, Ron.
Yeah.
No experience with.
The only thing Scott Swick told me before I took over Bravo crew is like, man, he calls me on all the time on my off time, and it's not even important. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna let him know right up front. Bruce, don't call me. Major Hudson, don't call me unless it's important. It can wait.
Yeah.
And he was cool with it. I never had a problem with him.
I don't want to switch gears over here, but I am. But who was the Miss HR person that I inherited at the MCSB? Derick, it was the person that she walked by and you said, "That's a nice badonkadonk." And I was like, "Derick, you said it so loud."
Natalie.
Oh,
I don't want to say her last name. Don't say her last name. But yeah, but apparently I inherited her and said, "Kevin, be careful. Be careful." And I was like, "Oh my God, what did I get myself into?" But apparently she had like 5 or 6 HR complaints with harassment. And I just don't know how, I was like, what should I do? And it's like, "Kevin, just keep your distance." I was like, "How can I keep my distance? I'm her boss."
What was his nickname? Squirrel?
Chris Esquivel.
Well, all right. I guess the same name.
Okay, yeah, there's a name.
He leaves his last name off.
There's a name.
He thought like Christopher Eugene.
I'm friends with all of them on Facebook.
Social security number?
Yeah.
But she did get married to the DSO though.
Yeah.
They're still married. They're doing well.
Yeah. They are. They are.
So,
hey, does anybody know what happened to the Woodside Strangler?
Oh my God!
You guys
John's.
remember her? Woodside, Airman
Why are
Woodside.
you calling me out?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm kidding. The thing about Woodside is I was with her and Mike Cronus in the mountain before Buckley. They were at the mountain with me.
But
She's the one who got in an accident going home a block away from Buckley. She got in an accident on I-70.
I thought she
didn't
drive.
learn how to
Because she
drive.
went
She didn't
up
drive
the-
for the longest, man.
No, she drove when she came back from Thule. Then she lived like literally on Mississippi. And then she got in an accident in her new Thunderbird on I-70. We're like, what are you doing on I-70?
She probably
You
put
live
something
like
in
around
brownies.
That was a good one, Chief. I have not heard that.
Yeah, she looked at you like she wanted to wear your skin.
The Woodside Finger.
Because she do that just like the extra
Yeah, she looked
couple
through the back of
seconds.
your head.
You're like,
Who was it? Who
Remember
was
this,
the
Derek?
commander that took her to pick up her stuff out of the crashed car?
Oh, you did?
oh yeah.
No, who was?
It was.
Oh,
Because
I don't know.
I think it was what's her name? Tech Sergeant. She became senior. What's her name?
No, I think it was a male because he was like, she dropped so much Adam and Eve magazine and random boxes out of that car and threw them on the passenger seat and then went back for another handful of stuff and then was like, okay, we can go. 'Cause we all rotated
Adam
picking her
and
up
Eve.
every once in a while.
The funniest thing
Yeah,
about her is
but-
you would drive her home, but she'd say, "Hey, can you stop by give me some brownie mix, do this?" Like
Yeah.
you have to take her shopping before you got her home.
Who was the crew chief when we went to the MCSB? Said, "Don't anybody give her a ride," and she ended up taking the bus from Buckley to Longmont. Yes,
remember that.
and she was like, "No, what's
kinda messed
you
up.
know, Jen? It was Jen."
Jen who?
Colonel
Oh,
Jen
Pete
Dunlop?
Gilby? Oh,
Huh? Yeah, I don't want to say last names,
Yeah,
but
I
you
I
know,
already said her
Derek.
name like 5 times.
yeah.
Jen Thelke.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, now you said it.
Now I said it, but you
We
said I
should
said it
invite
5
Jen here.
times.
Jen
Hey,
would
if I'm
freaking love this,
going
by the
down,
way.
all you are.
Jen would love this.
Who
Yes,
cares?
she would.
Jen
She
would, yeah.
literally said, "Don't you? If you see her walking home, don't you ever give her a ride. Don't." She has a car sitting at home, and she just wants to walk. And then when
That
we
was
had to go to the
safer for
IMCSB, yeah, right.
was terrified
And then
of
we were
driving.
going to IMCSB. Nobody would give her a ride. She ended up taking the bus, and she was like an hour and a half late for shift.
Kevin, your mic is so
Fucked up, man.
loud.
It's fucked up.
I don't know why.
I'm
it's
sorry.
so
Here,
loud.
let me
It's
see
the
if I can
nursing
do it.
homes, Mike.
Here, let me see if I can do
Bring in
something
the
about it.
weirdest
It is the most
movies, right?
sensitive mic ever because your
I'm sorry.
vapes sound like you're on oxygen.
No, you're good.
Is this any better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. I don't
Sorry,
think
I
the
had
vape
both
was-
both my ear. So I'm gonna put my microphone behind my head. Is this any better?
That's about the same. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, no, I'll take care of it. I'll take care
Roll
of
with
it.
it.
I want to go to Ron because those early ISAs.
Kevin, you doing that on purpose?
What is he frozen?
Yeah.
What is that sticking up?
You don't play it off.
Looks like a dick only
Yeah.
small.
Why is that peanut butter on it?
Come on, man. There we go.
Fuck off.
Hey, Marty, this is a mid-shift conversation.
This is exactly your mid-shift
is.
conversation. But Ron, we were Jake brought it up on one of the other shows, and he brought up Summy, and we laughed our ass off at Summy. But if you run through that first 4 years of IOC with all those ISAs, holy shit! Who was that? She was an ISA, right? Who broke her ankle on the rodeo or whatever?
No, Kaylin Jennings. She was
Kaylin, yeah,
Yeah,
she
she was
broke her
right.
ankle.
Throw them out.
She didn't break her ankle. She broke her. What Ron just said.
Pelvis.
She got a bull. A bull caught her in the thigh and ripped her thigh open.
Oh my god!
Yeah, she was riding a bull. The bull ripped her thigh open.
Jesus Christ!
Nasty.
You know, she got commissioned in the army. The last time I
Yeah,
saw her, she
that's
was
right.
a captain in the
That's
army.
right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Nice.
But Jake brought up Summy and how I can't remember. Oh, he was on with Forrest, right?
So-
Wasn't it
Yeah,
Summy
yeah,
and
both
Forrest?
of them. Yeah.
And he would make little comments on Forrest in the changeover brief, in his intel
Yeah.
brief. and how he would walk around the ops floor with no boots, just to see who would find out that he was walking around in his socks.
He used to hide in the island.
What was his name for his girlfriends, Jake?
The concubine, wasn't
Concubines.
Oh, yeah.
it? That was his girlfriend that he was a tutor for her college classes, and then they ended up being like boyfriend girlfriend.
You know they're married with 2 kids.
No,
No way. Are you serious?
They're still married to this day. They're still married.
awesome.
They have 2 kids. She just recently had a birthday because I'm friends with her on Facebook, and their kids are like 9 and 7 or something like that, a boy and a girl.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's
they're still
awesome.
married.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
last I heard
Wow.
he was out in DC doing something, or that area, that Beltway area.
Yeah, he's in DC area and working doing Intel stuff.
How many of you guys ever went on Flight Lieutenant Henry's parties?
The limo parties?
I went on one of those.
Or his house party.
I remember like half of one of those.
Yeah, I did one of those, and he got butt naked in the limo.
Oh,
Hey,
sounds like
Was that
McClure.
Sean or Steve?
Exactly.
That was probably Sean.
Sean,
It's got to be
yeah.
Sean. It's got to be
Yeah.
Sean.
Well,
Yeah, I think that was
but
Sean.
Sean was mobile when he got naked, right? I mean,
He was
Yeah,
the
he
yeah,
was
we're
just sitting
mobile.
there, right? He was out on the
Yeah,
town.
Cherry, you were on that one. You and
Yeah, we picked up in front
you
of
and
your house.
Suzette were on that one.
Yeah, we were in front
Yeah.
of your house getting in the limo, and Macker took his clothes off. And while he's taking off his socks, I look up, and all I see is a starfish in my face. Like, I'm swimming ass. What the fuck are you doing? Totally killed my buzz.
I remember going on a little. Do you guys remember Andy Earl?
Yeah.
Super
Tall
smart
guy,
guy.
right?
He was-
Yeah, big tall.
Yeah,
guy.
he was my supervisor. Never drank. Went out with him and Ian Davis, who was a Brit, and we all went out drinking.
I remember
And
this.
I thought I could outdrink him. Andy, who never drinks, just kicked the shit out of me. Me and Eric Bias had to tap out. We're like, yo, we're done. And Andy was just talking mad trash. And I'm like, well deserved, because you never drink. And then Bias and I had to bow out. Big fan of the Australians. Also, will never drink with them again because
Oh no.
Who
just better.
was the lowest ranking Australian there?
Corey Hume,
Corey
The model?
Hume,
the fucking
coolest-
model, bro.
the coolest drunk I have ever been around. I think he
Oh.
You
got
ever go out
more.
with him and Terry?
You
Terry
didn't go
Whitman,
with
you ever go
Yes.
with those two? Sweet Jesus. I couldn't even pick up their scraps, Marty. Like, they were so good looking. Like, they were
Yeah.
like, hey, we're going out. Do you want to go? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm going to stay at home.
But it
'Cause
wasn't that they were.
I'm not on your level. Like,
It wasn't
I'm not
only
going.
that they could drink like fish and they were
Yeah.
good looking, but they were cool. They didn't make you
Yeah.
feel bad. And
Yeah.
I think Corey Hume got like more sober the more drunk he got,
Oh yeah.
because he had a way. He was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good. I was like, you just drank a case. I was like, yeah.
We can't get out of this without doing the Amy Reed Halloween party. That was the best.
Now that one I didn't go to, so I can't attest to that one.
Oh God, you know, with Amy, nobody recognized Amy. What was she dressed as, Derek?
Lara Croft, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Really?
Is that when
Lara
Steven,
Croft? Yes.
Gary, downtown Gary Brown with the blue man
Oh,
group,
that's
or-
what Steve.
Yes.
Wonder.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or
No,
were they-
no.
they
They
were
they were the Geico
Caveman.
cavemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the best party.
Is that one when Baker was puking out on someone's porch?
Yes. Well, he
was
was
Eric
drinking
Johnson's
water.
house? Was it Eric Johnson's house?
No, that was. Oh, it was Eric Johnson's house. I think
it
you were
was.
right. But yeah, but Baker was saying I'm so drunk, and then he would literally filled up his beer with water and pretend like he was drunk. Baker, oh my God, he helped me get my first crit. Remember, Derek, on my
Your
first day of shift?
very first shift as a GSO on my crew.
Yep.
Grade
Yep.
two
First
person,
shift.
by the way.
First shift. But
Was
anyway.
Kevin,
it,
were you there at One Stops when we sent Baker on the Doofer message tour?
Yes, I was there.
Yeah, we sent that dork on. We sent him around to basically every unit trying to get the pieces to the Doofer message. So he spent an entire shift going unit to unit,
Yes.
and they would give him like letters and numbers and just all this shit. And he would just walk around the whole base the entire time, collecting all the things we needed to decrypt the Doofer message.
As a young kid, he was dumber than a bag of hammers.
That's the best though. When you just other units are involved, like, hey, fuck with this guy.
Yeah,
Or
call
Dacus.
up
Dacus
homeboys
was the
and
worst too.
stops and yeah.
Dacus.
Dacus, yeah.
You think he had the
Oh, you
longest
remember?
strides in SBIRS?
Oh,
You remember?
yeah. He was a
Whoa,
long
go ahead.
strider, bro. Yeah.
Dude,
You remember whenever they were at the party and the 8 Swiss commander was doing shots off his wife's belly?
Whoa.
No.
You guys,
Yeah,
guys
I
don't know that
His
story?
wife was
So
She was
that's
very
not exactly-
flirty.
No. That's not
You're talking
exactly.
about Greco. You're talking about Greco?
Oh, I don't want to say the name.
Ah,
come on.
I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
did not happen. He was not taking shots off her belly. So what she did was she did take his scarf, the flight suit scarf. She did
Yeah.
take that and she tucked it into her tits. And then she was getting very familiar. And he liked to drink, and at some point we had to be like, dude, stop! Like, this is bad. Do not.
This is
do
an
this.
airman's
Are you
wife.
talking about Dacus or
Airman's
Rico?
wife. And he was like, oh, and just take care of me. And then he separated himself, and everything was cool. But he thought he was just some random chick, and that was in the back of Dry Dock. When Dry Dock they had the little bar in the back of Dry Dock. You guys remember that?
Mhm.
Dry Dock Brewing, they sell all these brewing supplies. They had this little bar, and we had some going away or something. And she showed up, and she was that girl. And
Yes, she was. But he,
On
but of
2
course,
separate
Dacus,
occasions,
he always
I had
had
to
a.
put Greco up at the dorms
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
one time he was just totally wasted. He was in his office drinking,
Yeah.
and I just happened to be working late. And I go in and go, hey, Colonel, what's going on? And he was wasted.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, man, you cannot drive home. I had to go over because, as a first sergeant, we had keys to some rooms over at the dorms. I had to take them over and put up the dorms. Another time we were over at the, what's it called? Panther Hall or
Panther Den.
Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were at the little club over there.
Yeah.
And he was so wasted. The bartender said, I'm not going to serve. He goes, who is this asshole? He goes like, somebody better get this motherfucker out of here before we bust his ass. And I had to go over and grab him and say, hey, man, we got to get out of here. And I had to take him over to Panther Hall and put him up in a room over there and say, hey, you need to stay here and sleep it off, man. But, on 2 separate occasions. But there's a few times I've gone in his office, man, and he's turning the bottle up and he's just getting lit.
Same thing. When I took over for you, you never really let me know. About
So,
that
Marty,
shit.
I don't know if you remember this story. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. You were in my office. We were talking. And Greco says, hey, I need to talk to the superintendent.
I do remember that because you told me about it afterwards.
And then Marty left, and Greco had a 6-pack of beer in his hand,
Yeah.
put it on the table, and we drank beers at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not going to the gym today.
No.
And then I was a CSA. Remember the CSA? You did all the computer stuff
Yeah.
in the squadron?
Yeah.
I had to fix his computer, and I rolled up into his desk, and there was a bottle underneath his desk that was empty that he'd been drinking all night.
Yeah.
He'd come in at 11 o'clock in the morning and stay till 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Right. He never went home. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Suzette got in my ass because I'd be there at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
She'd call me, hey, when you coming home? Colonel Greco just got here, so I got to go through some stuff.
Right.
She started getting pissed.
I gotta do some
4:30, she started calling me. When you coming home? When you coming home? I said, I'm going to come home. So I finally told Greco, I was like, dude, I can't stay here all night like you do. And I could hear him through the vents. He'd be lying to Neri, his wife. Oh, I'm in traffic in Castle Rock.
Yeah. I worked with her at A-Stop. She's
I was
awesome
like,
too.
Greek,
Yeah.
I can hear everything you're saying. You're lying to Neri, and she's Puerto Rican. She's gonna fucking knife you. She's
He's awesome.
He's gonna knife you.
Yeah, he was a trip. He was a trip to work with.
What is he doing now?
I don't know. I heard.
I haven't seen him in years.
But I don't know.
Did he ever put on 06?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that was so weird with the reserve group at that time, and him and Mindoro and
Rattery didn't like him.
And Rattery didn't like him. Yeah,
Rattery
and then there
didn't
was
like
just like it divided, and it was weird. It was
Yeah.
really weird. All right, let's pull off the drinking stories, and I just want to go. I want to give you guys a second to think about it, but who's the most memorable officer that you worked with there, and why? Right. So for me, I don't know. There was a couple. I mean, I went to OPSEC school with Furchek, right? And he was a blast. He was a blast. But when we got back, I don't know. It was like he was behind the 8 ball with the other commanders. I don't know. I don't know what the rep was, but it was just like he never really kind of was exalted up. I don't know why. But I love working with the guy. I thought Kevin Furchek was great. So,
Derick?
I mean, there was a lot of memorable ones, right? Who could do the Dean Zezius breathing?
Man, those are freaking names from the past, huh? I saw them
Well,
later on
02.
too.
02. The
was-
Cease and Teeps.
Yeah.
Oh,
By
two.
far
Oh my
the
God.
most.
I just remember her being big pregnant, wearing her flight suit, and
Yeah.
she could hardly zip up.
Yeah,
You know,
and
she
then
went to
she
building
switched
1
her
later. And
husband's flight
I
suit.
worked when I was at ASOS. We were under A3. She worked in A3.
Oh.
O2 did.
Does anybody ever know what happened to remember Selden? Lieutenant Selden? The
Her
little
name sounds
blonde,
familiar.
the blonde who was there, and she was kind of frail. She was one of the only lieutenants because back then they were still putting lieutenants in the missile fields, right? There was very few lieutenants. There was there was another lieutenant who, at the time, early 2000s.
I got to ask you guys something real quick. So I went scuba diving in the Maldives. Was it the Maldives? The Maldives about 3 years ago. And I had this guy that was on the boat, and he said that he was ex-Air Force. And I said, oh, okay, where were you stationed? And he was he got out when he was, I think, a captain, but he said one of the places he was stationed was at Buckley. And holy shit. I was like, when were you at Buckley? I was like, I was at Buckley. I said, what'd you do? He goes, oh, I work behind the fence. Well, holy shit. You're behind the fence doing what? And he's like, oh, I work with SBIRS. And of course, he's thinking nobody else knows what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
I said, you got to be shit me, dude. I worked in SBIRS from 2001 to 2007.
Yeah.
So when'd you get there? And then he started kind of oohing on. Oh, well, I left there in 2001. And I said, really? I said, so who was there when you were there? The dude could not give me one name, not one fucking name. His name was Francois Demars. And he left there and he went to LA. And he got out in LA as a captain, and he's been working as a contractor ever since. Has anybody ever heard of this guy? He's a black guy, about 6'1", slim.
No.
And I've never seen his name, never heard of him. And I asked Greenwald if he'd heard of him. He says, I never heard of him. He goes, don't tell him anything. Don't tell him anything about the operation. And I've seen pictures of the guy. He had pictures on Facebook, but he was in uniform and stuff. But I was like, nah, I don't trust what this guy is saying, man. He could not tell me one person he worked with.
That's stolen SBIRS valor.
That's something.
That's very
Hey,
precise,
That's a
though.
pretty
Like,
deep
Hey,
dive
Derick,
there.
you cannot leave this conversation without telling the Lieutenant Bramlett story.
Which
The one whenever we were on
which one?
midshift. The one we were on midshift, and we had that great looking lieutenant.
Lieutenant Fisher?
Oh, yes, you got to tell a story, dude. You got to tell a story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. So So basically, we all lived on days, but we worked mids. And Derick gets so delirious on mid shifts. Like he would turn to me and he'll see me start closing my eyes and he'll go, Dunaway, wake up. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, he'll be passed out, Then all of a sudden, Lieutenant Bramlett comes in for shift change. And she pulls Derick on the side talking about the OSS forms for training and everything. And she goes, yeah, I need to get this done for Lieutenant Fisher. And then Derick goes, who's Lieutenant Fisher? She goes, that one that she's on the upper dais, good looking woman and everything. Derick goes, really? Y'all two want to get together and kiss?
I don't know if I said it as creepy as that Kevin said.
Yes, you did. And then Lionel Beltran turns around and goes, Derick. And he goes, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired.
Hey, Mo was my little butter bar in the OSS, man.
But you didn't know her back then whenever that happened.
Teapot, we were trying to see who's your most memorable officer from your time that you were there.
Oh, Gary Benton.
Yeah,
like
the ex-Marine, Gary
Benton. Yeah, he kind of got a bad rep again as being a quote unquote hard ass, but all he was is do your job, man. He was cool. Like we played softball together.
Hey, we won base championships, brother.
Yeah, I played on that team
all the time.
Yeah.
He had the Toyota on rims, and I'm like, why did you have this Toyota on rims, bro? Like, he was so cool, man. But I remember, one time, real quick, we were going through an ORI, and I think it was Rosales. We missed, or we didn't have record of an eval for him. So he would have been delinquent. He would have pulled shift without having some type of recurring eval.
Correct.
And Gary pulled me into the room. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, I know what I want to do. I'm going to go to scheduling. I'm going to talk to them, and they're going to put it on the schedule, and I'm going to gen up a form, and there's going to be no questions asked. And he goes, do it. So this hard ass wasn't so much hard ass. I went to you guys remember Tony Vanderpool?
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
Him and I got along great. I said, Tony, put an eval on the schedule here for Morales, and that's it. He goes, okay. And we left that ORI with the excellent rating, and that was Gary, man. Gary was I liked working with Gary. I liked working with Stocking. Bauer Schmidt was funny. Like Jake was ridiculous. Like
one of the best was when we had Sanders on our crew as our flight commander. We talked about that before. Yeah, Sanders and Bauer Schmidt. That was great.
Yeah.
But I remember Jake made that comment, and we talked about this on the podcast before. So I know I'm retelling the story. But Jake said that whole, it was beaten like a redheaded stepchild. And Sanders was redheaded. He's like, hey! Oh, shit.
Hey,
but he was so, he seemed straight-laced, but he was so really laid back.
Hey, maybe we were talking about Major Hudson, how some of the crew chief, remember how Major Hudson and Major White used to go at it, though? They would literally fight on changeover every ship.
I called Captain White begging strips, man, because we had the 3.
5 strands.
Oh, man. Hey, but Nathan was on our base.
Not Nate White, 5 strands white, yeah.
Yeah, 5 strands white.
Yeah, 5 strands. Yeah,
they used to.
He did LN.
They did not like each other.
It was weird. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. So, who'd you say? Who's your best officer, or who's your most memorable officer, Derek?
I went through so many in the OSS. I mean, all the officers on the floor were mostly 8-Swiss, right? But I like Rob Marquez. I like Rob Marquez a lot. Marquez, Until this day, I'm still good friends with him. He's an awesome dude.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
he was great.
How about you, Chief?
I would have to say Lieutenant Colonel Burton at the time.
Yeah.
That dude was solid. He would listen to you.
Right.
Help you out. He was just a solid guy. Like, remember EPRs? You write an EPR.
Sure.
You come back all marked up. Like, this sucks. But I'd had EPRs that he approved that didn't fly the next time. I was like, look at these 2 EPRs.
Yeah.
They're the same. And you said no on this one. What's up? I do that? I said, yeah, you do that all the time. So he sat there with me for over an hour and we corrected these EPRs. I said, I'm going to call you out every time you do this.
He had really good calves. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendous calves, yeah.
Yeah, you're like the SWAT guy back then.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to refine
Oh,
my
yeah.
answer because Teapot, I said fur check. Remember fur check? I
Yeah.
like fur
Oh.
check. I love drinking.
Yeah, I like fur check.
Right?
I like
He cussed
French.
me out a couple times. Still love him.
But I
love it.
think overall, it had to be Gibson. Gibson was such a
Oh, Steve?
Hey,
the
I still
commander of
thought-
Two Smiths. Hey, that
oh,
guy was
Bob
so
Gibson.
smooth.
Yeah.
Bob,
he could
yeah.
speak
Bob's
at
awesome.
the drop of
Yeah.
a hat. He was great.
he does me and Rob's money. He
He's my
manages our money.
finance guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he went into money. Yeah, I know. He
Yeah.
did Ever Jones, right?
He was always like
Yeah.
that, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah,
he-
he's so smooth and he's so calm, and you just like you could learn from the guy.
He was my commander at ASOPs. But remember him, and then after him, Colonel Smith, Steve Smith, he was at Ball, and he's like a big VP at Ball, and he
So-
freaking remembered me from 20 years ago.
Oh
when
yeah,
I
Steve
worked at Ball.
Smith,
Yeah,
he came off as a dork, and then you start talking to him, and he's
He's a good
cussing.
dude.
I'm like, whoa, was not expecting this. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. I'm gonna
that
give
was
a
a
shout
weird
out
transition.
yeah.
to God, what was it? You guys remember Rod Miller?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a nuclear physicist.
Now Dr. Rod Miller.
Yeah.
One of the smartest dudes I've ever met in my entire life. I would go to meetings with him, and that was back when fitness was big. So I was like the UFPM guy. So I was in meetings I shouldn't have been in. And I would listen to these captains, lieutenant colonels try to gaslight him. And he would just be like, "You're fucking stupid." Like he was like so direct and blunt. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't ever want to get on your bad side. I'm friends with him and his wife to this day. I mean, they're fantastic. Rob was
he
great.
was he was Burton's DO at the time.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Oh,
Burton
that's
was
right. Yeah, that's
big
right.
Burton fan too.
That's right. Yeah.
He would
Yeah,
just
Burton was
throw his guys.
fantastic.
What do you think, Vern? Who is it for you?
There's a lot of big names that I could throw out, but I got to take it back to the early days so that everybody knows who I'm talking about here. But Johnny Olak.
I knew you were going to say
Oh,
Johnny.
that
I knew I was going to
Oh.
say Johnny for you because you guys were inseparable.
Yeah, we were homies, and yeah, we had a crew that was full of a bunch of emotion.
Misfits.
Well, I will leave it at. There was a lot of
Misfits,
emotion
boys.
on that crew, and we were two guys that just didn't give a fuck. And for instance, one girl had she had a marriage fall apart right before the wedding, and she's pissed. She comes in one day and she's just pissed, and she's cleaning up and just trying to take care of whatever's going on in her brain, and she pulls out this dish and this big platter, and she goes, "What the fuck is this here for?" And I look at her and I go, "That's for you to fucking go and make sandwiches and put those on." And he starts cracking up laughing. I start cracking up. The whole crew starts cracking up. She gets pissed. You guys, everyone here knows her. I'm not going to say her name, but there was that.
It's stopping now. If we're drawing the line now.
Yeah, I'm not going
We
to.
mentioned 80% of
We're all
siblings.
getting stupid if Marty
7
pulls it.
minutes.
We're all getting
You guys
stupid,
do what you
so.
got to do, but I mean, there's numerous stories of up in Boulder getting shit faced, convincing the 2 Swiss first sergeant that it was a good idea to give all the airmen kegerators in the dorms so they would save money. We went on a good 4-hour explanation on why this would be a good idea. And there again, me and Johnny Olak, two thick as thieves. He was a good dude, great on crew, real sharp guy, and fun to be around.
So Johnny O, I ran into him when I was in Boulder. He was a contractor. And I remember one night, he's like, "Hey, man, you want to have a quick 2 at this bar down the road?" Because he knew I lived pretty close. And I said, "No, man, I'm not. I'm tired. I'm going to go home." That bar, like a week later, had a double homicide shooting.
Wow.
And I walked in. I'm like, "Dude, Johnny, what are you trying to do?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm not going there anymore." I'm like, "You wanted me to go there with you for a quick 2? Like, come on, man." Love
That's
Johnny
really
O,
weird
though. He's
because Johnny and
fantastic.
I we used to go after crew, and we'd head to this little bar in Aurora called Scooters, and that happened to
I
us one
remember
night.
Scooters.
We went and had a fast one. That was his thing. Let's go have a fast one. And we went and had a fast one. And, we left at, we got there after cruise. So it was like 3:30. And then we left at, 5 or whatever. And like at 7 p.m. that night, there was also like a shooting in that bar's parking lot. So maybe he has something maybe there's something going on behind the scenes.
Last I heard, he was in Vegas, right? Like I think we ran into him in Vegas last time, right?
Last I saw, he was working Intel support up for the Red Flag out there in Vegas. And I'm not exactly sure where he's at now, but yeah, I bumped into him kind of randomly out there at a Red Flag. And he's calmed. He was calmed down quite a bit from when he was lieutenant captain. He was a good dude, always solid. He'd always shoot at least me straight. And I miss that guy.
What do you got, Jake?
Oh man, I was blanking out. I'm reminiscing about Ola.
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah. Man, I don't know. Sanders was awesome. He's the one that he absolutely hated baby powder, right?
Yes.
That smell of baby powder.
I know where you're going with this.
And we were who was it? Ortiz or Cruz? Cruz bought some
Olivia.
Those freaking bathroom sprayers because she was tired of working in a building with just all stinky men, and so she put them out. And the first day, Sanders was like, I hate baby powder. Get that whole thing out of here. And we're like, oh, okay. So he went on leave for a week after that. And we took all 4 of those and put him in his office and closed the door. It got so bad that we couldn't do conferences at that conference table because it just fucking reeked of baby powder. And then he came back from leave livid. Oh, he was mad. Like, just furious. I saw him on my last deployment, and he came up to behind me while I was at the chow hall, and we were in the middle of an exercise, and he's like, you need to simulate putting your mask on. I was like, okay. I didn't turn around and see who it was, but I put my mask on, and I turn around, I'm like, holy shit, where have you been? He's like, I thought it was you. I was like, damn, man.
That's pretty cool.
Jake, could you imagine having to supervise me, you, Conrad, Raul? I think McElwain was there at the time too.
Joey McElwain.
Joey Buttafuoco.
Joey Buttafuoco.
I feel bad for them now. I'm like,
they're all saints in my mind. Like, geez, yeah.
I don't know how we got through it.
Right. And then like Chris Dahl, remember Chris Dahl? He's like the only one that did like work all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Who was the Canadian enlisted guy that was in DOV? He was on the system side.
Oh, smart guy too.
Yeah, the guy glasses. Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, maybe? Quinn? Wasn't that
it? It was before him, right?
Andy Earl was an Australian that worked a lot too. He was my boss.
I know Andy Earl. He's good.
He was the best Canadian.
It wasn't Quinn?
Yeah.
He was really good. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I can't remember.
I think so.
I don't remember his name.
Dan Quinn.
But we were such a bunch of misfits, Jake. Just dealing
Steve
with
Henry walked in our building the other day, like 3 months ago.
Really?
And he's like, he's still in the Australian Air Force.
Yeah.
And he walked in our Parsons building, and we're like, oh crap, look at this. It was Willie and I met him at the door. We didn't know it was actually him until he walked up. So
I see Dinsley's name every once in a while, like on Facebook,
Yes.
or LinkedIn, or something like that.
Yeah, I see him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dinsley. Yeah.
I love Dins.
Who was it for you, Ron?
This is a throwback. Rob Mailer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
The
Absolutely.
calmest
I,
guy, the most grounded guy you could ever be around, boy.
Yeah. I enjoyed working with him, man. He was always
That was a good one.
really, really calm, really just easygoing, but he really, really knew his shit. when he started talking, it was like, yeah, I better listen because this guy fucking knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He knew like all aspects of the floor, and he was a guy I like to work with.
Where's Rob Mailer from? Do you remember?
He was a volleyball crazy man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was shocked, man, when I found out he had the heart attack and just fell over and died.
Yeah, that was
Sorry,
very
Missy,
sad.
That funeral was rough.
Yeah, he said Rob Mailer. Yeah, that was him for
That
for
funeral was
Ron.
rough. You remember where Rob
Yeah,
Mailer was
I'm
from?
good friends with his ex-wife because they never actually got married. They were engaged,
Right.
Krista.
Right
And
before
so
it
I'm
happened, yeah.
good friends with her and her husband, and they come back and we go over their house and have dinner, and they come over here and have dinner. So
Nice.
still good friends with them.
Nice.
Very cool.
Well, they named the lark after him.
Yep.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
It's the Rob Mailer
So
Award.
Wow, a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wonder if does she know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's nice. It's a nice
You
gesture,
can,
but
you
they
can
also
break it
they
for
also
our next
named
dinner.
The
it
tree
started-
after Jay Jones.
Yeah, the jumpers is
Yeah.
after Captain Jay Jones, who was a great guy too.
Colonel,
Yeah,
Colonel Jones.
Well, that was his second time there. but
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
happy
He was my
with it.
favorite chicken farmer of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
He was an A&M guy, wasn't he?
Hey, when he
Right.
put those
Chicken farmer.
when he put those cages on top of the backups, unbelievable.
That was.
But I don't know. That was a
That was
weird.
that was Edmondson's idea.
That was a
I was
weird.
getting
thing,
was?
yeah. It's
It was
like-
Edmondson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like everybody who dies, just name a room after him. I'm like, ew, I don't know if I like that. You know what I mean? How about you,
I
Kevin?
know what room I'm getting named after me.
The data chase.
I was going with the sports closet, but fuck it.
Don't bring a black light down there.
Oh,
You can go down there with the MREs and the cops use condoms. So
Mhm.
Well, I guess for me, it's really like a three-way tie, only because OGB was an office of really that we got together, and I think Vern can contest to that we really got to know a lot of people, and the two of them that I really got close with was Mike Young and Mike Mariner.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
During
Yeah.
during the Johnny O situation and
Mike
everything.
Young was awesome.
And I got to know Mike on two different occasions from OGB, and now he was the commander. He just left, and Scott Wright is now the commander.
Scott Wright. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing great.
All the lieutenants.
So it was, getting to know them and everything. I think they gave me a new profound.
Who is pouring
profound-
something? Or is that Jake taking a piss? What is that?
He's probably taking a piss in the closet.
Are you
Just
pissing
about.
in a cup?
It's
It is a
his
hillbilly.
bucket. Come on,
No,
guys.
I was getting more water. I thought
Oh,
I muted
Jesus.
it though.
No.
I thought I muted the mic.
Is that outgoing or incoming? I wasn't sure.
No, it's just incoming.
It's circular.
Sorry, Kevin. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't think we ever looked at each other upstairs as officer and enlisted. I think we just thought together as a team.
Yeah.
And the third person would be Schoonmaker. I'm not sure.
Holy shit, I haven't heard that name.
Yeah, I worked closely with him only because I was the superintendent up there,
Yeah.
and going through all the situation with Hardesty, with God, I can't even remember his name. Where his wife put in, they kicked his wife off the base because she was.
Yeah.
They had like 3 kids in the house, and one of the kids called him, and apparently there was a restraining order, and one of the kids called him while he was at the gym, and then whenever he called back, his wife answered, and she goes, "You just violated a no contact order," and she tried to report to Schoonmaker. And Schoonmaker goes, "That's not the way this works." And then the second their divorce was final, they went out and Schoonmaker goes, "Go get her and escort her off the base now."
Oh,
And I thought that was perfectly done by Schoonmaker. So yeah, Schoonmaker, Young, and Mariner are my best.
Huh, that's very good. we could keep going. I mean, we're at like an hour and 20 minutes. I'd love to tell more.
I'm
stories.
in.
This has been great, man. This has been great.
But
feeling good.
let's do this real quick. What's the best nicknames that you remember? For me, Chico.
Big B.
Chico White, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my boss.
We're talking about Big V?
Yeah.
Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Big vagina.
He's my boss now.
Chico's your boss?
Yeah, he's my boss.
Yeah, he's my boss now.
Whoa, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah, that guy, when they won the contract, he came to me and he's like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up, but we're going to try to take over what you're doing right now. And I was like, really? Because, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you had a heads up on that. And I was like, that's not my contract.
But everybody always
taking
thought
over for SAIC.
everybody thought Big B was something else, but that means Big Vietnamese, but people always took
It
it
does
another
not.
way.
Yeah,
Yes,
It
it
does
does.
not mean big Vietnamese.
It's called
Yes, it does.
It's not big Vietnamese.
does.
No, it does not.
Not if you talk to the guys who gave him that call sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's my boss now, so I got to say Big B.
Oh, you sell out.
Jeez, man.
You sell out.
Sell
Yeah,
out.
he gave me the real story. Yeah. It is flying.
I wish I wish we had more time because I
You
I
need
can
more
see it's getting
nicknames.
antsy,
Listen,
but-
I thought we were going to give out some nicknames there.
Who is the
Well,
scooter?
Vern's even though that's his name, he's Vern. I don't know him by Mike Johns. I know him as Vern.
I'm gonna give
I've been calling him Vern since one side.
Yeah, Teapot. Of course, Teapot.
Some
Teapot.
people don't know my name.
Teapot is the best.
Yeah.
Sexiest man of Space Command. Like Terry Whitman. Like that.
That's a good one.
That dude
Wow, that's
was
true. Yeah.
absolutely legendary in my mind. I could tell you so many stories about the motherfucker, man. And then when him and Corey Hume got together, it was just like, what is going on? Ridiculous.
Fucking.
And Johnny Fuckaron is also up there because Jake, man, you are legendary for if you're not busy, then I'm not busy. Like we all know that.
But wait, getting off nicknames for a second, I want to mention the triumvirate of the 3-4 nationals when you had Joe Mordew, who
Love
was
Joe.
who was the Brit
Joe
champ,
Mordew, yum.
and
Yeah.
then Jane
Cox.
Loves the.
Jane Cox.
Jane loves the.
Cox.
Jane loves the. That's her nickname.
Yep.
That group, they were fun. That was a good party.
Ridiculous.
And the
Yeah,
little
they
Brit,
were-
the little other Brit that hung out with Jane.
That's why.
married
That's why I
Tony.
couldn't remember. I couldn't.
Yeah, she
remember
married
her name.
Tony, right?
Yeah, I went to tech school with Jude Butler and Dent.
Jude Butler. Yeah.
Butler.
yeah.
not
Jude,
Jude.
Okay.
wow.
That's not what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Scoot
No,
over
but there was-
Clint big time.
Because she was tiny. She was like 5
Yeah.
foot or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe even shorter.
Yeah, I forget her
Come
name.
on. You know my Jackie Thomas?
Yeah, Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, who was the Canadian GSO on our crew who was like the oldest Canadian corporal in the force?
The DSO,
No,
Ted
he was-
Childerhosen.
Ted
Childerhose.
Childerhose. Let's
Childerhose.
go.
Childerhose,
Good old
man.
Teddy. He had
Yeah.
he had
He was
Bailey's
so-
and the old coffee every day.
Yeah.
That guy was so funny. And he was like 40.
Yeah,
when
he
we were
didn't
in
care. Like, he
the- No,
didn't
he
care.
did not care.
Didn't he join late?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how enlisted promotions work. I remember who was the Canadian captain who got chose to go on the cruise.
Antefave.
Anafave.
Antifave did that to poke somebody in the eye.
Really?
Yeah, because the commander didn't wanted to deny his leave, and Anifave was like, "Guess what? You can't. I'm going on paternity leave." And then he got back, and they were like, "Yeah, now you get nothing but shifts." He goes, "Guess what? I'm going on sailing leave."
That's right, because they sent him for like 6
And they-
months or something like that.
They couldn't
Let's
backfill him.
go.
They
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. And Anifave was just like, "Fuck you, bam."
Yeah.
No one,
He was
those,
cool,
I'll
man.
tell
He
you
was
what,
cool.
I used to think that all the foreign nationals, they never reported any of their leave because they had so
Oh.
much.
No,
They
because
never
they didn't have
did.
to.
Like-
They
Constant.
never
Yeah.
did.
They didn't. Well, it was either that or they only had to report leave for like on the weekends or something. Like they
Right.
banked.
No,
But still,
they-
man,
Who
they
was
did
the
not
who
have
was the
to
British
read
that
much leave.
that allowed it to go, Derek? Who was that British guy that allowed them to table their leave and not submit it? I can't remember his name.
Well, I called him out when Jane Cox was taking leave every Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And I pulled
Well,
all
Rob
the
knows.
logs, and I went after her, and then she got mono.
Yeah, from do you know who she gave it to?
Kavanaugh.
I've heard stories.
Yes, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say his name.
You know, we've been doing a lot of stories lately about all the uniform changes and stuff like that, all the lax standards that they're trying to do to bring people into the force.
Man.
And my
Don't get me
mind,
started.
you know, I mean, if you walk on Buckley, or if you walk on any base now, it's just like I was telling to Jake the other day. You see a bunch of guys in uniforms with beards and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's the Pakistanis. And it's like, no, it's the U.S. Air Force now, right?
Yeah.
But you go to all these standards that are lowered, and I always go back to Chief's story when he got pulled into EO because he was doing the right thing. And it was like, hey, your flight suit's too tight.
Yeah, I know. That was Terra Norris.
Oh, my God.
Tailored. You're a son of a bitch for that.
I know. We all hated you for that, actually.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta
Did we
stick
hate
to
him, or we were like, yeah, he's probably right? Like,
Hey, good job, Chief.
She thought I hated her after that, but I've talked to her. I mean,
No,
we're in
right.
school now.
Yeah. But I can't even see that flying nowadays. I mean, my God, the uniform standards are just it's
If
weird.
you go on
walking-
base,
It's
man,
not
you
just
see so many of
uniform,
these
it's every
girls that
state.
are so
Yeah, it's
big,
everything. Right.
these big chunky donkeys waddling around on the base, and it
Dude,
just frustrates the shit out of me.
Hey, man,
Because-
you have not seen the new
Ron,
girl that's
Ron,
on
you
the
haven't seen
mission
the one on
side
the
right
base.
now.
Ron, you need to go
She's
to
like
the
5
inside.
Dude.
offensive linemen.
Dude, you would shit a
Oh,
brick,
my God.
dude. You would shit a brick.
That's because your PT test is a Fitbit.
She
Yeah,
has
you do
a
this.
she has a waiver for PT test.
Good.
Who is this?
So
I don't want to mention names, but
She's
I'm telling you,
active
she's
duty
got to
or-
be at least 300 pounds.
Goodness.
Nice.
I'm on the other side of this. I don't give a shit. Can you do your job? What's your
The
job?
problem is,
You
Malcolm,
stop.
that's representing the Air Force that I served 26 years. That
Cool.
girl's representing the Air Force that she walks around looking like that.
Cool. Can you do your job? If you can do your job
Yeah, well-
I don't care. I don't give a shit.
the
your
teapot's
job.
always the upholding.
Probably not.
I know.
Yeah, but my big problem is
Teapot
I
Gen
deployed
Z.
with some of these people. I was in Iraq. We went out on a mission, and we had this one kid on the mission. He was probably about 5'8", 280.
Wow.
Just a huge, fat little fuck. And we're out, and we're humping with 60-pound rucks with all our battle rattle on, and this fucker gives out. He literally gives out. And he's like, I can't breathe. I gotta stop. We had to stop. We had to make a circle formation or circle around this fat fuck. And we had to and we're out in the middle of the desert, man. We were going from hut to hut, hitting these huts, checking for weapons and stuff. And we had to stop and take a knee, and everybody had to lock and load, point a weapon out because we had people going by and we didn't know who was going to take shots at us.
Yeah.
And man, when we got back on base, I cussed out everybody, all the colonels, everybody. I said, don't ever send another fat motherfucker out on a mission with me. You're going to fucking get everybody killed because this fat fuck wants to sit back and eat hamburgers and drink fucking colas all day. That shit will never fucking happen again. And, in those combat areas, they let us get away with that. But I chewed every fucking body out, man. And
I
my
guarantee
squadron
this
commander, he was like, hey, man, just calm down. I mean, no, fuck everybody. Man, we all thought we were going to get hit out there. And I was like,
I
that shit
guarantee
would
this
never
one
happen again.
woman could not run to the mini in 2 minutes. It would take her at least 15.
But you got
shit.
you got concealment and cover behind
Do your
her, so
job, cool.
you
You
can
can't do your
take
job,
a-
that's when I have an issue. I
take
don't
up
care
a
about anything
firing
else.
position over her prostate body there, so you'll be all right. We could probably go for another couple hours, but we'll call it. I mean, goddamn, we didn't even get to some of my favorite stories.
I love y'all.
Some of my
I'm
favorite
so happy
stories
right
are.
now.
Hey, Marty, it's part one.
It's kind of part one because I could go.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who we sent over to the dorms
mini.
who was playing golf for 6 months and nobody knew where he was.
Hero,
Remember that
bro.
story?
Don't even
Right?
strip. That guy is a legend.
The guy who was He was also outside the RA, and he
He's a
was
golf
switching
pro now.
tags. He was switching tags at the BX, right? And he was waiting trial. My favorite part of that is he's awaiting trial, right, over in the dorms. He volunteers to become the head of the JJEG, right? And he goes to the top 3, and they're like, "Hey, can you spot us 500 so we can get this JJEG underway?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." They stroke him a check. He goes. His trial comes up. He's off to Leavenworth. The next guy comes up to take over for the JJEG. He goes to the top 3. He's like, "Hey, could you give us some money for?" He's like, "What happened to the $500 we just gave you like 6 months ago?" They're like, "There's no $500." This guy pocketed the top 3 money and went off to Leavenworth. I was like, brilliant. He's so brilliant, you know. And I know we all got stories like that. We could do that forever. But those are the ones that make me laugh. Those are really the ones that make me laugh. You know, all the cuffs on the ops floor, all the glass phone booth calls, right? I mean, my God, we could go on and on
yes.
those things, right?
Yeah.
Dropping ketchup packets underneath the toilets when you're going to drop the food. Yeah, been there, homie.
All the urine bottles underneath the mini and the tiles
Yeah.
that we found like about 6
Yeah,
months
the
ago.
mini sock. Oh my God.
Oh my
Did they
God.
find all those?
They found so many urine bottles underneath the tiles. They have found like at least 60 bottles of urine.
For round 2, remember that one because I've got a story about that.
Were you guys there when it was like hardware and RGS when they were having that battle between each other and they were leaving notes like there's a bomb on the door and they actually called the security forces in on those guys? Remember that?
No.
Yeah, that was
No.
But they were also linking their Xboxes and they were playing Halo all night between the 2 offices while we were walking in and out of the mini site. So
Yeah, they got an RGS that has a the dish network on a tripod. When you go out to the walking out the restricted area, I want to go over there and just turn it. So I really do. I want to go over there and just turn it because we can't get TV. Why should they?
well, shit. Remember the what was the gym? What was the little gym there? That was
Yeah,
Yeah, you
There
can't
is
get
one
to it.
now.
They put a fence up.
Yeah, I know.
There's
But
a fence.
before the
ADF
fence,
gym.
right?
Yeah.
You can go in that
Yeah.
smelly ass gym.
Oh, talking about the ADF?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there was a guy who
the
worked
one
out.
in the middle. It was in the
Yeah,
middle.
it wasn't the 80. Well,
No, it was in the middle.
No, it's not an ADF. It's in the
Yeah, it
middle.
was in the middle.
Yeah, it was right in the middle. Right.
Yeah, I remember a story. Aaron Williams went to that gym. Willie, like 3 o'clock in the morning, we could strip somebody away to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Remember they had those poles in the middle with the shower heads?
Yeah, sure.
3 o'clock in the morning, him and one other guy in there. Willie's taking a shower and he opens his eyes and the guy's standing right next to him.
Oh, Jesus.
And it wasn't Jake.
Jake!
That's awkward.
Willie,
Like, what the
Willie and I were just laughing about that the other day.
Really?
Well, it was those post showers, right?
Yeah. They had the four.
They have like
the 4
6
heads on it. Yeah.
And there was like at least 2, maybe 3 posts in that gym. He had plenty of room.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're just like,
Hey, what's up?
so,
And you're not talking about the ADF gym. Like there was that ADF gym that was there right across from the basketball courts. You're not talking about that one?
Yeah, it was in the ADF compound.
It was
Yeah.
part,
Yeah.
It was
but it
small.
wasn't part of the
before,
ADF.
Maybe it
before
was
they
the
put the
80th.
fence up.
Are you talking about in the
Before they put the
warehouses?
fence up.
No.
No, it was
Yeah,
smaller.
I think we're
than
talking.
that.
I think Lucas doesn't know what he's talking about. It was part of the ADF complex.
It was.
Yeah, it was the ADF gym,
I guess.
and they had a bunch
Yes.
of old school equipment and shit like
Well,
that.
yeah, we used to go in there all the time, though. We didn't have to go through like the ADF. We could walk right into that gym.
Yeah. That was
Before
back in
they
the
put
day
that
before
fence
the
up.
fence. But then the
Before
fence
the
was
friendship
built.
fence.
But it is the ADF
Yeah, the
gym.
friendship.
I just want to make
Correct.
sure that Sherry and
Yeah, that's correct.
Dave, we're talking about the same thing because I know
Yeah.
I know those posts and everything
No,
sounds
yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, the only gym that was out there, I suppose, whatever it was called.
Well, during COVID, there was one in the warehouse too that we used to sneak in.
Well, there still is. They just made a new one.
Oh,
Thanks.
really? No, I didn't know that one. So, all right. Any last calls? Last calls? for
Yeah,
this?
my colostomy bag is full, so I got to go.
Hey, Marty, we should do this again, Marty. This is fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get even more people on it.
Yeah,
that would be-
you know, we talk a lot of trash, but we love all the people we talked about.
Yes,
right?
we
Like,
do. We do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't all be
Absolutely.
on here if we.
I go to
Hey,
battle.
did
with
Corey dial in and just didn't come on cam?
Nothing connected. He was there. I popped his profile up, but his cam never connected and his audio never connected.
Corey
So-
Bowman and his Dodge Neon SRT4.
Oh
We'll
my
get him there.
God.
And Corey.
Oh,
and
wait,
go way
I
back.
thought he was
just
like.
talked so much shit.
I thought it was that Subaru that he wanted for.
No,
for
he
the
had
Honda.
He wanted the
Tesla
Dodge
now,
Dodge.
but he had a Neon SRT4 for
That
years.
neon was his life.
Yes, sir. Yes, you get it, Kevin.
That would be fun. Ron, thanks for. Are you still going to overseas here in a couple days, or did you get pushed back?
No, I'm not leaving until the end of April.
All right. Where's your next
Yeah,
diving trip?
Huh?
Where's your next diving trip?
Yeah, it's going to be, I got one going to the Red Sea the end of April. Then I'm going back to Egypt again in November. And June, I'm going to Uganda to hike in the mountains with the mountain gorillas.
Oh my god!
You're
I've got a
amazing, Ron.
vacation in Costa
I don't think
Rica.
I don't
Good
think
seeing
you
you,
can call
Ron.
them gorillas, man. I think
Hey,
it's
Ron,
inappropriate.
you're still doing those boat tours in
Yeah.
like Egypt at all? So Juan and I are talking about doing that. So we're going to get with you at some point because we're going to bring our spouses and go have some fun.
Yeah, let me know when you want to do it. That's what we had one in April that we were taking a big group, but after the war broke out in Gaza, we had 29 people going on this big, huge, super yacht, man. That would be cool for a group like this, because if you guys have never been out on, they call them liverboards, but they're big mega yachts like the super rich have, and you have a whole crew that takes care of you. And even if you're not diving, we got, they got big screen TVs and they got lobbies and stuff, and they got, like a little bar area, and you just cruise through the ocean, and you got a whole crew of people that just take care of you. And they have these gourmet chefs on there, and they cook all this really good food, and and it's just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you actually kind of valued it out, 7 days on there for $1,400 a person is a lot cheaper than being at a hotel and then having to buy all your meals and stuff.
Yep.
And again, you just have a blast, man. This last time we were, they hooked up this giant slide that went from the very top of the boat. It's about 3 stories, and we're going down the slide.
Damn.
You guys remember Dee Snyder?
Yeah.
She was the first
lead singer of Twisted Sister.
for two Swiss. So her and her husband went with us in March, and she was diving. She just got certified to dive, and so she was diving, and she was having a great time. We were having a great time. Her husband didn't dive, so our boat captain would take him out on a small dinghy, and they would go out and come back with these huge mackerels, man. I mean, literally, he'd come back holding these giant ass fish because he'd go out and go fishing and grab that.
Yeah.
Dee, she was really good in the water, and I have more than 500 dives, so I'm really comfortable in the water. And all the dive masters say, hey, look, we know you're good in the water, and she was better than all the other beginners. And she got frustrated because all the other beginners were having buoyancy problems going up and down, or they would use up their air too quick. And so she's like, I'm just tired of this shit. I'm tired of this shit. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. We went on this big dive, this big sunken ship. And so I said, look, I'll take you down on the ship, and you'll go down with me, and we'll let all the beginners go and do their own thing. So I talked to the dive masters on the boat, and they said, hey, if you got her, we're okay. We're cool with that. So I took her down. She's a beginner, so she's not supposed to go more than 60 feet. And the top of the boat is 80 feet. And we kept going down. I kept checking her air. I was checking her dive profile. She was doing good. So we just kept going and kept going. And next thing you know, I thought we were still at the top crest of the boat. When I looked around, man, we're on the fucking bottom. We're at 135 feet.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, shit, man, I'm gonna get in trouble. I looked, and her air was good. And I said, okay. And she was like, no, let's go. She was telling me, let's go some more. I'm like, no, we got to go up. I got you down too fucking far, man. We got to go up. So I brought her back, and, we took our time coming back and, checking all these big, huge fish and all this stuff. And as we were coming back, I was expecting to see, the other 15 people, I was expecting to see them coming up and getting ready to get on the boat. And we were going back, and I'm real good on my air. So I as good as any instructor or anybody else in the water. I'm real good on my air. And women are better on air than men because their lungs are smaller. So they don't breathe as much air.
Ron,
and so Dee and I, our air was very close. And so we were going up. I didn't see anybody. I'm thinking, what the hell? Where is everybody? I know these other people can't stay in the water as long as I can. I'm one of the best divers out here. And we get back and we end up, popping up. We got on the boat, and everybody on the boat, man, they were standing on the edge of the boat, looking over the edge, waiting for us to come up because they were like, holy shit, we've been on the boat for 20 minutes. And you guys have been down there the whole time. They were like, shit. And they were teasing her husband. He's a retired E9 from the Marines. He's a Marine E9 that worked on the backside of the base. And so we came out, and they were telling him, man, Ron ran off with your wife. He took your wife and left. He's gone. And we get to the boat, man. We get up, and everybody's like, oh, shit, man. We were starting to get worried because we've been on the boat for a long time. And I was like, no. She's doing good. No problem. But we just had a blast, man, the whole time out there playing card games and all kind of other shit, dominoes, watching movies. Cool. Drinking every night after we finished diving. Somebody would bring out, usually Dee, and then we had another female from Las Vegas. They'd bring out these big bottles, and we sit there and we start, throwing them back. And the cool thing is, you got a whole crew that their whole job is just to take care of you for the 7 days you're out there. And man, we had a blast. They let us go up in the top of the cabin.
Next time you go to Gaza and scuba diving, don't include
Gaza.
Hey, that was a great story too. And never use the word small dinghy. Kevin gets offended from that.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, your
Ron,
mom doesn't
we'll
seem
be
to
in
complain.
touch.
HR complaint.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, I love you guys. Thanks for all coming on. And we'll see if we can do it again and even think about it.
Yeah, Marty, send us the other invite.
Good to see all you guys.
Yeah, we'll do.
Right.
Go blue.
All right, guys.
Man, you guys take care.
Go Tigers. Love you guys.
Derek, Robert, Jake, Vern, Teapot, Ron, and Kevin. Thanks for listening today. Hey, we'll see you next time, man. That's great.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Are you going to post this one?
Yeah, I'm posting it tomorrow.
Okay.
With all the
gonna have to
names
bleep
and
out
all
names.
the lawsuits that are coming.
We should have left some of the fucking names off. You got to post it.
No, it's just going to be like,
That's all it's going to be.
That's too much work. I'll just take the
Yeah,
lawsuit,
that's true.
and then we'll just go from there. So.
All right, guys. Love you
All right,
guys.
man. You guys
Thanks,
take
guys.
care.
We'll see you later.
Later.